Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily Hindu analysis video. In the morning these videos come, in the evening the MCQ lessons they come. Both the lessons you need to follow religiously. 11th of November it is, and Hindi and English, both the lessons are available there. Important issues we discuss every day. Important context, social situation, political situation, economic situation, and societal situation, governance situation. Everything is there in these articles and the facts there. So explanations are important. PDFs you are getting every day. Today's newspaper is all filled up with the information, various feedbacks, responses, important issues. So religious and political debates are there. So we will not go into those details. A superficial message we will surely read there, and one article on the RCP issue and other important details we are going to discuss there. So paid content, premium videos available at 159 rupees per month. They are available by these three important faculties, and Pocket News app training on Google Play. Regarding these courses, the description is given below the video. You can call on these two numbers if you face any difficulty in the payments or any query regarding these important courses. You can call here. Chat section is also available. PDF you will get here on Telegram channel, which is given here on the Facebook group there. So you can send me a request here. You can follow me on Instagram too. First issue, some words that I found today. Now the most important aspect of Ayodhya verdict. In the editorial section, the Hindu writes here that in paving the way for a Ram temple in Ayodhya, the Supreme Court prioritized communal harmony over all else. That is the one line that sums up all. Means the process is unique this time because this issue was the unique one. For the first time in this world, somebody would have decided something of that sort. Mythological references were there, issues of faith which were based on that, and the history of this country, thousands of years old history, and some evidences which were not available. Out of all those contexts, we have learned a situation like that we will decide something in a way that social harmony, communal harmony, that is maintained, and consequence is the most important issue. Observation was excellent, decision making was excellent, and was with consensus. 5 judges bench and this decision making. You see, you can never say it was a victory for Hindus or something as a losing of Muslims there. It was nothing like that. Whatever victory which was there, that was in the decision making. Means in a almost impossible case, they have given a verdict, and that is maintaining a balance there. India certainly had a history, and it's thousands of years old. Surely Lord Ram was a important figure there in our spirituality for thousands of years now. All evidence are available. Issue was that there was a temple, 12th century temple, but was that destroyed? No, there is no evidence. There is no evidence. Ruins have been found, but the Ram temple was destroyed there. There is no evidence available for that. So that's why this issue was certainly noticed by court. It said that ruins have been there, and wrongly some idols were planted there in 1949. Okay, so that was a desecration of masjid in 1949. That is recognized, and Hindu idols were planted surreptitiously under its central dome. So that was wrong. That is well recognized there now. So it was in favor of Muslims for sure. Second, planned destruction of whole structure by foot soldiers of Hindutva on December 6, 1992. That was totally illegal and wrong, and that started this fierce battle and the bloodbath in this country. So that was the negative aspect there. So these things were favoring Muslims, but the main disputed site, now there a temple is going to be allowed. A government appointed trust is going to build that temple, and Supreme Court has apparently chosen a path most conducive to social harmony. So this way it's a balanced one. So the main issue of the movement Mandir Wahi Banega and all, so that is fulfilled now, but the balance has been there. They have criticized all the wrongs done by Hindus there. So that's why it's an important issue. So certainly in 1528 the Babri Masjid was built there, but there is no evidence that the existing Rama structure was destroyed there. There is no evidence there. So the things which were there, those are recognized. Things which were right, they were given legitimacy. Things which were done as wrong, then they are criticized here. So this is how it's a important balance. Now main issue is that we do not have to discuss anything about it now. Whatever the process is, that will be executed by the Government of India, and the main task is of the Government of India that they do not allow anything in the future as a claimed victory or any kind of a tool which is used to declare victory in this issue, to create the dominance there of Hindus in this country. Nothing of this sort should be allowed now, and that's the ultimate responsibility of the Government of India. If that happens, if the belligerence of Hindu organizations that ran the movement to build a temple at the very spot on which the Babri Masjid stood, if that does not end now after this verdict, then this whole verdict will come to zero, and it will be a devastating one also. Why? Because then it will be seen totally in the favor of Hindu organizations, and it will be declared as a biased one. So it is the responsibility of the government now, which they are fulfilling right now, that they do not allow these kind of dominant forces in this country. Okay, so the toxic effect of sectarian strife we have seen many people killed on this issue, and a lot of bloodbath we have seen. 1993 bombing was also associated with that. So these are the issues important for GS paper 1, important for GS paper 2, because of the execution of the government is important, and right approach of the administration must be followed there, and a classic case for GS paper 4, very important. And for essay section also, many points you can derive here, and the judicial reference, the judgment, and the vision which has been taken there by the Supreme Court, that's an excellent example there. So this is how you also can add something in your personality, in your character, in your decision making, in your evaluation, in your logic, in your rationale, and you can understand the administration's process also. The way all the stakeholders are behaving right now, that's appropriate, that's good, and how the social harmony is also maintained, that is also great. Otherwise this issue was extremely sensitive, and anything could have happened here, because the legal issues were somehow different. Okay, because legality cannot take faith in the approach, but here it is taken. Why? Because the whole issue is built on some mythological backgrounds, some unresolved legal matters, and that's why faith was certainly there. But when you decide about something in the court, then you cannot challenge the rule of law in the name of faith. But that's why I told you it's a unique one. It is the biggest victory in this sense for the Supreme Court, that they decided this world's most unique issue, and all country members, all the people, all the stakeholders, they have to maintain a sanctity there, they have to maintain a standard there, and this is really a testing time for this whole country, all the Indians, all the bodies, all the political parties, all the leaders, everyone, because this has been decided in a certain way that is not skewed, that is not disbalanced, and that is certainly having a vision which should always be there, and that has been very much important to the decision making there. So that's why it's a important testing time for all the stakeholders, that they remain calm, they see it positively, and they welcome the people from other community, and the brotherhood is prevailed there. So that's the important issue here. Next, center gets responses to draft social security code. We have discussed 4 codes there. A lot of legislations, existing laws, they have been subsumed under these 4 codes, and the labor code, the industrial code, the social security code, these are important here. Now this social security code, which covers provident fund, maternity benefits and pensions, all social issues and social security issues, these are covered. 8 existing laws are subsumed in that. It is not finalized yet. Only the draft was given to the public in September, and till end of October these suggestions were taken. 400 comments and suggestions they came, and now when the winter session will start in Parliament on 18th of November, then it will be taken up and hopefully it will be finalized there. So very important one. Some changes have been made in the new draft. BMS, an affiliate of RSS only, they had rejected the draft code in its comments, because they said that in the first draft there was a central apex council headed by Prime Minister of India, but now that change has been done there, it is not there, so they are rejecting that. So it's going to be a huge controversial issue, because labor reforms is the main agenda, and everything is very sensitive. Everything relates to poor and the vulnerable, and these social security codes are extremely crucial. They are always controversial in every country, because India is a huge country, a lot of people are poor. Social security is the pure social goal there, and it is all the goal of a welfare government. If they do not see it, means they are not focused on welfare, because these are the pure responsibilities. The old people, PF, pensions, these are the pure responsibilities. There's no output there. It is all input by the government. So that's why these are important tests that they come out successfully out of it, and they bring a balance in this issue also. And all the suggestions are well taken here, because these are sensitive issues related to poor, mainly poor. So that's why it's important, and it is going to create an important system also. It will establish the workways and the labor reform agenda that we need very, very eagerly at this moment, where a lot of challenges are coming. Our manufacturing is down, and we are going through economic slowdown phase, and labor reforms are something which will change the whole trajectory. We need them. Without them, we cannot become a superpower. For sure, our manufacturing sector, that cannot get a boost there. So it's an important one. Next, Modi Shah promise center's help. Cyclone Bulbul. I had discussed with you, cyclonic conditions means summer conditions. More evaporation. Evaporation means water turning from liquid to gas. So latent energy is released. That energy gives power to cyclone. Cyclones are anti-clockwise in northern hemisphere. So the cyclone Bulbul is devastating territories in Bangladesh, in West Bengal, in Odisha also. At least 10 people are killed, and in Bengal this has been declared as an important emergency. So the leaders, the Prime Minister and the Minister of Home Affairs, they are promising center's help there. So that's important. So they may ask you about the approach of cyclones. Cyclone Maha was in the Arabian Sea, but Bay of Bengal cyclones are more severe, and as I told you, we are in a northern hemisphere of this globe. So these are anti-clockwise direction having cyclones. So they will move from Bay of Bengal to these states of Bengal, Odisha and all, because the direction is such. And again, I remind you here, Bay of Bengal, a water body surrounded by the land part. That's why this water gets more heated, more evaporation, and more severe cyclones are created. Anti-cyclonic condition, they move towards this side, okay, because that is the direct direction. But one more important thing, when it moves towards the land part and it is over the land part, then the force is totally weakened. Why? Because the energy source, that is the latent energy, which is available only on the water body, because where the evaporation is. So that's why, because the energy source is not there on the land part, that's why this is a cyclone that gets diminished, and its force is all gone on the land part. It is only forceful in the coastal areas, and it gets vanished away when it moves more into the interiors. So that's the issue, and that's the issue of depressions also. Depression means when high evaporation is there, then the air pressure comes very low on the ground, and that's why it's a depression. Okay, because the air rises, whatever the air was there on the ground, that is rising towards skies. So that's why it's a low air pressure on the ground, or a depression condition. Next issue, maternal mortality rate, MMR. We have been discussing this issue for the last 3 days. MMR, there was an improvement. India was at 130 number in 14 to 16, now at 122, means a change of 8 deaths. We have improved here, and 8 lesser deaths are there. And this data, as I explained to you in the MCQ lesson also, 122 out of 1 lakh, not 1000, because it is the death of mothers during pregnancy. And according to WHO's definition, if the mother is dead within 42 days of termination of pregnancy, then it is called the maternal mortality. If after that, then it is not called MMR. Okay, so that's important. And in the last 17 to 18 years, worldwide MMR has been dropped by 38%. So that's also an important improvement there. So out of 1 lakh pregnancies, out of 1 lakh population, 130 females were dying during pregnancy. Now only 122 are dying. Kerala is at the top with the 42 deaths. 42 deaths. Kerala is at the top. Maharashtra 55, Tamil Nadu 63. They are targeting to bring down these numbers from here to 25 by 2023. So in next 3-4 years, they will bring down it to 25 per lakh. Okay, so that's the per lakh population there. So that's important, and we are improving here. Some states like Rajasthan, Odisha, they have improved, but Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, they are going backwards. There are more deaths now. So that's really a disappointment there from these large states like UP and MP. But Rajasthan, like backward state, that is improving here, and it has improved a lot. That's important. Next, US court refuses to ban work permits for H1B holders' spouses. You see, Americans, they have become very conservative under Trump, and there was a movement that only Americans should get the jobs there. Outsiders should not be allowed, and at least those people who are having H1B visas. So these people who are having H1B visas, they were demanding work permits for their spouses. So that should not be given according to this American movement, and they went to court also. Now US court said no, we cannot ban these work permits. Whoever is eligible, that should work here. So it's a kind of a good relief for Indians, because a lot of Indians are H1B visa holders, and they are taking their spouses to America, and they want to work there and start a family there. So this is the issue of H1B visa. H1B visa is a work visa. It's a non-immigrant visa. You are not called immigrant there, because it is a work visa, and it is issued to employer. Your employer means suppose a company is there, Infosys company is there in America also, and it calls for some employees from India. So employer is Infosys. These visas are issued to employer, and then it will call some employees, and it will give to these employees from India. Okay, employees from India, they will be getting these visas from their employer. So this is how it works. So outsiders means Indians, they are getting job now in America. It's with the work visa of H1B visa. So that is heavily coming down year by year under Trump administration. Very less H1B visas are given to Indians there, and especially from these Wipro and Infosys companies. They are finding it very difficult to get the clearance by the US government there. They are not able to call many Indians there, but Apple, Google, they are calling Indians with sufficient numbers. There are no restrictions on those companies, but restrictions are there for Wipro, Infosys, these kind of companies, because they call more and more Indians there. So that's a main issue against India, you can say. because H1B visa is something which is very, very important for Indians. It is issued to people from all countries, but especially for India, it's important. Obama administration was very much in favor of Indians, but Trump is not. So that's again evidence that America is very much mean, and it only talks about their own interest. Aman Thakkar talks about the RCP issue. We have discussed this issue in much detail. Here also he makes some important points. He says that for a national interest issue, two things are important: creating millions of jobs and India's rise as one of the poles in a multipolar world. These two goals we are taking. In the first Independence Day speech by Prime Minister Modi ji, means in 2014 when he became the Prime Minister, he talked about these issues. Make in India was started, but it was a kind of a failure there, that after launching this kind of important program, we could not develop our manufacturing capabilities and we could not improve in last 6 years. And today we were totally unable to join RCP, which was extremely crucial for us if we wanted to spread our wings there, if we wanted to become a superpower, if we wanted to engage internationally in these economic integrative platforms, then it was extremely necessary, but we could not go ahead. Why? Because agrarian crisis is there, MSME sector is very weak, manufacturing is down, economic slowdown is going on, so many sensitive and political issues were there. So it's a kind of our mistake that neither we could give millions of jobs, nor there was a exceptional rise for India. There was a rise for sure, but it was not exceptional. And this thing was something very, very necessary. 15 countries are going ahead there, but we alone are isolated there because of our domestic reasons. So that is why it was extremely crucial that we were joining it, but we could not because of many reasons there. First, negative impact of joining the agreement, particularly because of the farmers issue and small business or MSME issues. So that we discussed there. Concessions that we demanded from these countries, but they could not give it in the areas of work visas and liberalization. And the biggest reason of India's trade deficit, with China already a $58 billion trade deficit, and this was about to go up for sure. If we would have joined RCEP, this would have gone up for sure. Okay, and with other countries also we were having bilateral trade deficits. So these trade deficit issues were hugely concerning for India. They would have gone very high with this RCEP issue, because the problem is of capacity. We are importing more and we are exporting very less. And India had faced unfair restricted market access from China also, because China just wants to export, it does not want to import there, and that's why it was a huge imbalance issue. And this is why this much huge trade deficit was there with China for India. Now, about this decision, this was appropriate according to our conditions, but was it ideal? No. Answer to these concerns is not India's withdrawal from the agreement. We needed this badly. India had already won concessions, including implementation delays stretching into decades, and safeguards to protect sensitive sectors like agriculture. What is that statement? This is by James Crabtree. He says that under WTO, India had won concessions and they were there for decades there, but India could not improve its condition to that sufficient level that it could become a hugely manufacturing and exporting country. We missed the train there and we could not develop according to our expectations. We had these chances, we had concessions, but we could not improve. That is something which is said by many experts, and that's why it is the condition today that we are not able to join RCEP there. Value chain integration was something very important for India. We needed at this time, because we are at the peak of our aspiration there to become a global giant. But Are we taking right steps? There are problems. Make in India could not give expected results. Agrarian crisis is going on. MSME was not robust. So that's why our exporting areas are not robust. And that's why today we should have been attacking, but we are defending ourselves means. And it says beyond these concerns, India has enormous strategic and long-term economic imperatives to join the RCEP. Yes, we had long-term economic imperatives because it is imperative for us that we become a giant. Otherwise, we can be crushed because of our own domestic factors. We are a young nation, but I always say that demographic dividend is not a guarantee. It may turn out to be a demographic disaster. If we do not grow with a good speed, if we are not improving and our economy is not strong, then this demographic dividend will become the disaster for us and we can be crushed under that. That's why we needed progress. This is our imperative and we have that potential, so we should be the global giant there, but we are not because of our past reasons. So that's why today in the world, especially in the Asia, two important economic structures are there: RCEP and the CPTPP, means Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. And we are not there in both of them. Neither we are a part of RCEP now, nor we were there in the CPTPP. So that's why we are out of the supply chain, global supply chain for sure. We have bilateral agreements, but this much huge free trade agreement we needed, but we are not there. So it is certainly going to impact India's internal and external ambitions. Certainly there. And you see the issue of jobs. This was some area that where we could have got many jobs there for our youth. This integrated platform, we could have earned a lot, especially with the services sector. But there also some issues of concessions were there. India's own evidence shows that jobs linked to global value chains earn 1/3 more than those jobs focused on the domestic market. Means internationally we earn more. So when we become the part of global value chains, then we would have earned more and more. But here we are losing this opportunity to create such high quality and high paying jobs. So we are losing there. And again we see domestically the issue of jobs is really a crisis. We are not able to give jobs, and whatever jobs are there, they are going away. And the automation is coming, machine learning, robotics, everything is coming. So lesser and lesser jobs will be there for sure. That means we needed these global chains badly in terms of employment also. But we could not go ahead. Now India's decision to withdraw from the RCEP is not idle. We only have two important choices. One choice, that we take this failure of ours to our hearts and we take a pledge, we commit ourselves to bring domestic reforms, to be professional, to manage the economy professionally and prepare ourselves for the next opportunity, to integrate ourselves into global value chains and unleash Indian manufacturing potential and become a hugely exporting country, and we bombard other countries with our products. That pledge we should take today. This pledge we need badly today. If we want to become something huge, then we need that pledge, because we are not working on that pledge. We are all diverting issues. We are not discussing economy. We have been discussing only these nonsensical political debates, religious political debates, and all time Pakistan politics were going on. So that's why now we have to turn that focus on this issue. Otherwise, we should revise our ambitions, and we should be content being isolated and sitting alone in a corner. So that's why we cannot do that. Our Prime Minister said that can we afford to remain isolated and sitting alone in a corner? No. We have to be energetic, and we can dream about it, we can make it possible. But that needs a lot of dedication, commitment, honesty, political sacrifice, economic commitment, and we have to give jobs, we have to create opportunities, and the corruption we have to curb. And it will surely come from the top leadership there. They have to decide about these issues. Technology is there surely for the help. So hopefully India chooses the former path. This is all important for GS paper 2 and 3. This is all for today. We'll meet again tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Keep watching.